Good afternoon, everyone. I am Alonso with the Wizard's Den, also known as Free-to-Play Devotee. I am going to be building some Pauper decks this evening, mostly because I just want to make sure that all my stream equipment is working, if I'm being honest with you. But I also do want to let you see a little bit of the inside on a couple of Pauper decks that we're going to be bringing in tomorrow. That is going to be Friday the 5th of February. So, let's get started, not waste any time. We are being very disapproved of right now by the Abbey matron, as is to be expected. So, let's get started. First and foremost, we're going to be building one of my personal favorite decks, which is Mono White Tokens. Now, you might be like, Alonso, Mono White Tokens is not a tier 1 deck, if you're familiar with the Pauper meta. If you're not, then maybe you wouldn't say that at all, and I'm just being silly. But I am here to tell you, yes, but it is a B+ tier deck, and I want it for one major reason. Nope, not that card. That card's okay, but no. Snubhorn Sentry. So what is Snubhorn Sentry? Snubhorn Sentry is a 1-mana 0/3 dinosaur. Magic got weird. And stopped being weird. And it has Ascend. What's Ascend? Well, it is a permanent effect that if you have 10 or more permanents on the battlefield at any given time, state-based action, then you gain the City's Blessing for the rest of the game. Well, okay, what's that do? Well, City's Blessing affects each individual card. In this instance, Snubhorn Sentry gains +3/+0. So, in essence, it becomes a 3/3 for 1. Now, I don't care what format you're in, those are good stats. So, we're going to put 4 of them in. Alright, so if not him, then what else are we playing? Sorry, I'm kind of using 3 monitors like a terrible person. I'm downloading a lot of things from my laptop onto my gaming stream, so this is kind of why we're here today. But I think we could definitely do this with some of the Kaldheim cards as time goes on, though I'm not super excited with Kaldheim. It didn't break our format, and like my friend Ben says, it didn't break the format in large part because it's not a master set. Master sets really push the envelope on what you can do with a Pauper card, common card. I guess I really should have started the stream by saying what a Pauper format is. Pauper is where you just play common cards only. So if it was printed at uncommon, but also printed at common, great, you're totally fine. If it was never printed at common, though, ever, either digitally or physically, you can't play it in Pauper. Okay, so Daybreak Chimera. Daybreak Chimera is from Beyond Theros, the Return to Theros set, and it has a devotion effect, where this card costs X less, where X is your devotion to white. So tokens don't count towards devotion, but Snubhorns count 1. So over time you can play a 2-mana 3/3 flyer. Also good stats, don't care your format. So we're putting 4 of them in there. Now here's an interesting one, if I can spell. Working on it. No judgments. Deathblade Elite, one of my personal favorites. So Deathblade Elite is an old stir. We're talking from way back in the day. And it has an old mechanic called Provoke. Provoke allows you to target a creature your opponent controls, and that creature, if tapped, untaps, and then must block if able. So even if they're tapped, it doesn't save them. Now, it's a 1/1 for 1, so that's not really good, but it also has, for 2 mana, the ability to prevent all combat damage will be dealt by it and to it. Innately, that doesn't make it that good of a card, though it does allow you to kind of sneak in some damage with your Snubhorns, which, of course, as we've mentioned, is the way of the game. But it's actually here for one major keyword that we're going to give to it, and that is First Strike. So, Cartouche of Solidarity, again, it only provides 1 devotion, but it does provide 2 creatures, which allows you to get up towards the Ascension ranking quicker. A lot of our cards are either about resiliency, pure power, or the ability to create multiple tokens in 1 turn. Cartouche of Solidarity when it enters the battlefield, creates a 1/1 white creature soldier token, warrior token. You can't enchant the warrior with this ability, unfortunately. The card must already be on the field, which means it already must have had a valid target. But it gives the creature in question that it's enchanting +1/+1 and first strike. So if you do that with a Deathblade Elite, it becomes a 2/2 first strike who can basically kill things, which is totally the point. Let's see. And beyond that, one other card that really likes to bouncy things is Core Skyfisher. So Core Skyfisher, which we're putting 4 of in here. Sorry, we're putting 4 of everything except for the Deathblade Elites, and the Deathblade Elites only because it kind of needs some things to combo off with it. Otherwise, it's just a 1/1. Maybe I should have 4 Deathblade Elites, but I don't think so. This isn't really a enchantments or a deck, so I'm not really feeling the need to add that much. Anyway, so Core Skyfisher. Core Skyfisher. When Core Skyfisher enters the battlefield, return permanent you control to your owner's hand. Now, why is that important? Well, because Cartouche of Solidarity then can return to their hand, enchant a different creature, and create another 1/1 token, giving us that much closer to Snubhorn territory, which... Yes. So, yes, this is all about Snubhorn. It was literally a build around Snubhorn. Snubhorn was the best card that ever was made, because it's adorable. Speaking of cards that love to be bouncy... Nope. That is also a common card, but we are not talking about that today. Thraben Inspector from Innistrad. So Thraben Inspector we're doing a 4 of as well, and that is a card that is literally just kind of you're playing white, play Thraben Inspector kind of card. So what it does is when it enters the battlefield, you investigate, which means you create a colorless artifact token that has pay 2, sacrifice this card to draw a card. Permanent to draw a card. So again, 2 permanents for the price of 1. And then you can bounce that with the Core Skyfisher, which allows you to create additional value. And honestly, Thraben Inspector, you'd be surprised, can get boosted up by Cartouche quite a number of times without any sadness on my behalf. Leonin Sky Hunter is an interesting one, which is actually a 4 of, and this is because this is really a white weenie deck. It is a deck built around the idea of going in efficiently and beating people down. So, why Sky Hunter? It's a 2/2 flying for 2. That's honestly it. It's just decent stats. It doesn't get electricaried. Though now with the, oh, goodness. Let's think. Oracle. Non-pirate? Yep, Fiery Cannonade. With Fire Cannonade in the format, I don't know if Leonin Sky Hunter is good anymore, unfortunately. And I can't select it because I'm just looking at Fire Cannonade. But that deals 2 damage to each non-pirate. Leonin Sky Hunter is a cat warrior, so it doesn't really avoid the pirate clause. So, it might not be good anymore. And my deck might not be good anymore. But Snubhorns don't die to Fiery Cannonade. So, again, Snubhorns, the best card in the format. But honestly, they're just there for value, and I don't want to replace them. If anyone thinks of anything that is better than the Leonin Sky Hunter for the 4 of, or if maybe we should put in a Deathblade Elite, let me know, because I want this deck to be good. Loyal Cathar, I don't think is going to be replaced anytime soon. So what is Loyal Cathar? Loyal Cathar is a 4 of in this deck, and it is there for resiliency. Loyal Cathar is a card that is just a 2/2 vigilance for 2. It has 2 pips, which are white mana token counters, to make Daybreak Chimera that much easier to cast. Same with the Leonin Sky Hunter. But it does have the ability to, how do you say, return from the graveyard. Now, I don't know how I can do this. There you go. Unhallowed Cathar. So, Unhallowed Cathar is the backside. So, when Loyal Cathar dies, it returns to the battlefield as Unhallowed Cathar, which is a black 2/1 creature that can't block. And fun fact, if you bounce Unhallowed Cathar with Leonin Sky Hunter, nope, that's not true, Core Skyfisher, then you gain the ability to return to the battlefield as Loyal Cathar. Value! it's about the value. This is kind of a mid-rangey aggro deck, which is the fun part about it. It beats real aggro pretty well, and it gets over underneath combo decks fairly efficiently. Now, we have a 2-of set here. First and foremost is Order of Leitbeer. Now, this one's hard to read, but it's a 2-of in this deck. Now, what does Order of Leitbeer do? Order of Leitbeer is a card that is old school magic. It's 2 pips, 2 white mana for a 2/1, and it has protection from black. And for 2 mana, Order of Leitbeer gains +1/+0 until end of turn. Nice mana sink, though you rarely will do this more than 2 times at best. And then 1, Order of Leitbeer gains first strike till end of turn. Efficient. Allows you to trade with things properly if you pay 3 mana, unless, of course, they have any type of removal. So, except Order of Leitbeer's got protection from black, which one of the main reasons I brought it into this deck in the main fold is because we live in a time of cast down, which is a big modern Masters addition to our format. Cast down, of course, makes it so destroy a target non-legendary creature. Destroy a creature. There's no legend. Well, that's not true. There are not no legendaries. There are not no legendaries. I'm owning it. There are not no legendary creatures in common. There are legendary creatures in common. They're just not good at all. And I'm not even going to talk about them. You can Google them. But cast down destroys all relevant creatures in the format. And so with Order of Leitbeer, it has protection from that, and protection from any type of targeted spell, really. So Hissy Miasma, which is another black card, which is -1/-1 for every creature on the battlefield. That kills it, but most cards don't kill Order of Leitbeer. And so that's fantastic. So I just put it in there. It's very much a hoser card against black decks, mostly because my good friend Ben, he loves black decks. And I don't like him winning with black decks. So, Order of Leitbeer. Anyway, moving on. On the opposite side of things, my personal favorite card, besides Snubhorn, of course. It's a tough one. Sacred Kitty. Meow. Now, I apologize for that, but Sacred Kitty is a fantastic card. The reason being it has lifelink on both sides. What both sides? Well, it has lifelink here, and it has Embalm. So when this card is in the graveyard, you may activate its ability Embalm, which will allow it to be exiled and create a 1/1 lifelink creature token. Basically a mirror version of the card on the battlefield. Again, it's about creating those types of counters, permanents on the battlefield to activate Snubhorn, but also give you the ability to really fight against burn decks, aggro decks, and even some, edict effects, or effects that make you sacrifice permanents, because you get multiple kitties. So you have to pay, though, and there's a sorcery speed, which is why I played with different cards for a long time. But the short answer is that the lifelink is actually relevant, and that cat is beautiful. So we brought it in. So that's the 2-of Sacred Cats and Order of Leitbeers. And I don't really know why it's not appearing on the side screen here, but I can't really help that. Oh, I see. It's because the screen is cut off at the corner. Let me try to adjust this. So, again, I apologize. I'm working to make things smoother. So let's fix this here. Cockatrice. Wrong cockatrice. Build cockatrice? No, I want the background cockatrice. There we go. Bring that over here. Ignore the background. That's just unhinged cards. I get bored. Anyway, and there we go. Okay, and let's just bring me in. I have no idea where I'm supposed to go. I'm a bad streamer. And again, you can't really even see what's happening there, so I'm just going to move myself over here now. There you go. Now I'm looking at the kitty. It was meant to be. Okay, so Again, you can't really see the cards there, and we're just going to kind of deal with that because, I mean, that was not the point of this whole thing. But, yeah, that's kind of it. That's pretty much just it. I'm going to make this card bigger. Yeah. Okay, then we have rules lore in the background being weird. Let's see. Sorry, 1 second. This is why I shouldn't do things. How's that look? Dang close. I would like to interact with Scryfall, and I would like to make it pretty, please. Oh, goodness gracious. There we go, that's better. Okay, perfect. Now, that way you can know that I am unstable, and that this stream is weird. So, let's keep moving. Sacred Kitty. Yes, moving on. Sacred Kitty's the best card in the world, because it's beautiful, not because it's good. So, those were the creatures of the deck. We have 29 creatures in this deck, which means I'm missing 2. Who am I missing? I haven't even added the Sacred Kitties. That's what I'm missing. Now we're good. 31 creatures in the deck. Okay, so, moving on. Other cards. We do need removal because the fact is I have never enjoyed playing cards without removal. So, we're trading Journey to Nowhere over any other type of white removal for one major reason. It's a permanent, which allows it to add to the Snubhorn count. Also, it does benefit to make an extra pip for the Chimera. So there's bonuses there. So we do a 4 of that. And we also have the very resilient Sentinel's Eye. Sentinel's Eye is a 1 mana enchantment that gives target creature, enchanted creature, +1/+1 in vigilance, and you can escape, which means when it's in the graveyard you may cast it by exiling 2 other cards and playing as escape cost, or exiling cards and playing as escape cost. Escape mechanics are each to their own individualistic. And then you can cast it from the graveyard. Creatures, sorcery spells, aura spells, there are all kinds of spells. We put a 2 of in there just because it allows us more resiliency, and it makes certain creatures very difficult to deal with because they just get beyond that toughness range, and then they're always blocking. Imagine, if you will, a 4/4 beautiful, beautiful dinosaur blocking your way. Now, those of you who don't know Pauper might be like, that's fine. Those of you who know Pauper are like, ah. Well, thank God I'm playing Burn, Elves, or Tron. But if you're not playing those cards, I'm not doing that. Okay, moving on. So those are the spells. And then we do have 2 of last-minute additions here that really added over the edge, which I adore. Which I can't spell. Guardian's Pledge. Guardian's Pledge is a 2 of card that white creatures you control get +2/+2 until end of turn. Now, this is for basically all your creatures, because all your creatures are white. Except, again, the back version of Loyal Cathar, which, again, is a black card. I can't get that card here because apparently I need to do it here. So it is, again, a black zombie creature rather than a white creature. So it would not benefit from this effect. But most cards benefit from that effect. So that's the basics there. And then apart from that, it's just a land base, which I do a weird thing, and I put an Eidetic Grange, which is part of the Eldraine series. So if you have 2 or more planes other than this card, so in addition to this card, you have 3. Then no, it's only 3 or more other planes? Wow, this card's garbage. I might have to get rid of it. But point being, if you have that, this card enters the battlefield untapped, and you get to put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It's cutesy. I liked it, so I put it in. It may prove to be a very bad card. Other than that, we run 14 planes because we're basic, and you want to run a lot of untapped lands in order to make sure you get underneath your opponents. and we run 2 secluded steps, which means I'm missing 2 cards. 17 lands, which is correct. 2 instances, correct. 10 enchantments, correct. And 30, I'm missing a creature. I think I'm missing a Loyal Cathar, because as you can tell, there is a Loyal Cathar on the bottom there. Silly boy. So, that was that. And now the sideboard. Sideboards, again, are catered specifically to your meta, but I tend to go more of a general base. What metas will I lose against? Well, Tron and Turbo Fog decks, things that basically stall you out for control purposes, which usually involve the graveyard, they really, really don't like Relic of Progenitus. And most of them can't deal with Relic of Progenitus, except for now there's a kind of rainbow Tron that has a braid, so they deal with Progenitus extremely well. But Relic of Progenitus has the ability to tap, exile target card from a graveyard, or 1 mana, exile Relic of Progenitus, and exile all cards from all graveyards and draw a card. Not bad, generally speaking. In addition, it does count as a permanent, but it of course does not count to your devotion. I do a 3 of him because I really don't like the Tron matchups, and I need some way to get around them, and Relic doesn't really interfere with my plans. Now, Burn and aggro matchups. I have Lone Missionary, which when enters the battlefield gains 4 life. It's a 2/1 core monk. It is a 1 pip, so it gains 1 extra devotion there, and you can bounce it with the core Skyfisher in order to just get more value. And you can gain life with that, so that's lovely. Oh, dang it. And so I put 2 of in there, which I do want more, I really do, but sometimes I just don't consider it worth it. We do have an additional 2 Order of Leap Beers in the sideboard. Reason being, I like to hose my opponent's deck, Ben's deck. And right now, Cast Down, that black removal spell, is very frequently used. So Order of Leap Year is actually a pretty good hoser against a lot of removal right now. Standard Bearer is kind of a hedge between... There we go. I put 2 of in the sideboard because Standard Bearer is a hedge between gaining... how do you say it? Boggles, there's the word. Boggles, which is an aura deck that enchants untargetable creatures that you can't remove. But Standard Bearer doesn't care. If a spell could target Standard Bearer gets targeted. Standard Bearer don't give a So, Standard Bearer is all about those enchantments. Now, this is also good against certain decks such as Infect or Mono Green Aggro, there's the word, who use a lot of enchantments and pump spells. And it's not horrible against things like Burn, because you'd rather have a Lightning Bolt go kill a 1/1 than your face, because the face is really important. So that's basically where that is. And yeah. Lastly, we have some really interesting end of the line kind of things. Mask of Law and Order is another enchantment, in which it helps give the pip count and helps protect certain creatures from certain effects. I probably could reduce this for 1 additional Lone Missionary, and you know what, I'm gonna. I like protection from red because basically removal is red or black for this format, but I would say that you don't need 3 Masks of Law and Grace because you have life gain in the missionaries and you have Order of Leap Beers to protect against black, so I'm going to put 2 in instead, and the original 3, which means I'm going to put in an additional 3rd Lone Missionary, which I'm very happy with. Now, we have 3 of the alternate version of this enchantment, which is Shield of Duty and Reason. I put 3 of in this deck for 1 major reason. Blue. So certain decks don't use black or red for removal, whether because they're monocolored or because they like Turbo Fog or something. And so I need Shield of Duty and Reason to make sure that I'm able to, able to protect from capsizes or bounce effects that put my creature back in my hand. In addition, it is good against mono green because a lot of your creatures can be in the way, such as Sacred Kitty, Snubhorn Sentry with Vigilance, or just in general. a Loyal Cathar. If you give those creatures protection from green, green matchups don't really have a chance against you because they're just always in the way. And so that's pretty much the deck. It definitely has a pretty good win rate against not Storm Control. Control that takes some time to get in the field. It has a 40% win rate, I'd say, against. And against aggro, it's actually pretty decent because the sideboard is very capable of handling a lot of things, and it's a very consistent and very fast game one. And sometimes aggro decks stutter, and you just take control. And the kidneys do help against things like burn. So, all in all, not a bad deck. So that we are going to title Pauper Mono White Aggro Snubhorn Fun. Alrighty, and save. So that is deck number 1 for the night. I think we're going to build one more deck tonight, but it is late and I have to work tomorrow. So I just wanted to get that thing going, and I will do a little bit of retooling with the interface, and that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to message me, comment, message on Discord, message on Twitch, and yeah, this is Alonso with the Wizard's Den, signing off. Peace!